Hi friends, this is Bijou Baker. I'm Maria. Today we're going to go all over the place. And ordinarily when I make my videos, I have to try to make sure that the background isn't distracting or everything is set in place. And there's a lot of work that goes into it, even before I click start. It's not going to be the case today. Today you're going to see 100% Maria. And it's going to be all over the place, and I'm going to be all over the kitchen. I'm making paella. So it's a fun dish to make. It's a fun dish to make and delicious. Don't let it intimidate you. It's really easier than you think. I'll show you how. But so I'm thinking, okay, I have family who loves seafood. They love trying something different or new or unexpected. So I'm having some family over. Well, I'm not going to just have paella, so I've set a little menu, and I'm going to show you all the different steps. And this is a full meal, so I'm going to just be everywhere. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to roast some beets and garlic. Now, are beets a Spanish dish? No, but I went to the produce yesterday, the mart, and these beets were just calling me. So I've got these beautiful red, vibrant beets and golden beets. The colors I gotta have that as a side dish just to make the plate pretty, you know. So this is gonna be served family style. Everything's gonna be put in the middle of the table, and they're gonna, dig in and reach in, just like, well, it's family. That's what we do. So I'm gonna start off with that. That's gonna take the longest, believe it or not. The easiest and great. And then I made a olive tapenade, and I did make that already, but I'll show you. It is so easy. It's like cracking an egg easy. And I'm gonna slice some a baguette, toast that on the griddle, pop it in the oven with some brie on top, and then let them dress it. And then I'm gonna make tortilla de patata, which is just it's like a Spanish omelet kind of, but it's a potato dish. That's a side dish. Lots of flavor. Good stuff. And then, of course, the paella. And at the end, we're going to make churros. So we're going to go to Spain, and we're going to have fun, and we're going to enjoy our family time. So I will tell you right now, whatever you see, that's what you see. It is what it is, and we're going to go play, okay? Okay, first things first. The beets I got, the colors are just gorgeous, but they're beets. So unless you want your hands stained, I really do recommend gloves. Now, throughout the video, you're going to hear life in my house. There's life going on in my house. My dog, my watchdog, who protects the house like crazy. So if you ever thought about robbing us, forget it. You can't sneak in. So what does that have to do with anything? Anyways, there's noise, so that's what it is. Okay, so to roast the beets, I washed them. I didn't scrub them because I peeled them, and then I took the tops and the bottoms off, and I've got these beautiful, look at that. Okay, now see the ringlets in that? Wouldn't that be, I'm not going to do it this time, but after they're roasted and they're soft and tender, slice them in between look at that gold one. Isn't that beautiful? So the colors together. Right? Pretty. So another thing I would do is I would slice, get 3 or 4 slices out of that. Same for that, whatever you can get. And layer them with some cheese in the middle, or with some, lots of other stuff in the middle, and kind of like tilt it and make it pretty and whatever. That's a whole other video. So I'm going to just cut them up. And the thing with making meals like this, I have my mise en place. I have every tray that I'm using for each dish. Watch, I'll show you. Okay, so this tray is for the tortillas de patada, and then this is the beets. And I'm going to roast them in a foil-covered cookie sheet. Let me fix you. So I've got the red ones, and they're they're red. They're a beautiful red. And then I've got the gold ones, and I just have them all about the same size to roast. You're going to get even roasting that way. And you can see why I'm using gloves. Even the knife looks like a crime scene. Okay, I needed a bigger pan. So, I'm going to transfer this, and you don't have to keep them separate, but I'm going to. All right, I had a dish towel. Okay, so you're going to really be generous with your olive oil, and this one comes out so fast. So get a good amount of olive oil on here. And salt and pepper, and that's it. I'm going to slice some garlics in here, garlic as well. Like I said, a generous amount. It'll keep it from burning, and it really will give it a richer taste as well. So let's get a generous amount of salt, because they do drink it up. And pepper. Anytime you roast vegetables, you're going to bring out so much flavor. You're going to bring out a lot of sweetness. Believe it or not, beets are really a sweet vegetable. You can actually make beet ice cream and beet desserts with them, because they get so sweet. And you want everything. You want everything coated. And I'm still going to try to separate them. It's an interesting vegetable, that's for sure. No, my jacket. Oh. All right, such is life. Thank goodness I live close to the cleaners. All right, that's it. My hands are done with the beets, and they're gonna go in the oven. Oh, my jacket. What a baby, huh? What a baby. They're going to go in the oven at, sorry, I'm telling you, 375 for about an hour. I want them really, really fork tender. And remember, fork tender is more tender than knife tender, because a pointed knife will go through most anything. But if the fork has flat prongs on the top, so it's got to take a little bit more to go through. So fork tender is a better tender. So for about an hour, 375. This isn't playing right. Okay, so for the tortilla de patata, you're going to take a peeled potato and cut it lengthwise. And I just use a mandolin because it's so it's so fast and easy. And I've got, obviously I'm not going to go all the way to the end because this is so fast. It's sharp. And then I'm going to keep them in water to keep them from browning until I'm ready to use them. I've got 4 potatoes. Yeah, I'm not gonna push it. So I'm gonna continue doing this to the potatoes, and they're going to stay, like I said, in the water to keep them from browning. Okay, so this is the tapenade. I just toasted this baguette. It's hot. So once it cools, I'm going to slice it. Then I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil on it and some sliced brie, just like a chunk. And then toast that in the oven for about 10 minutes until it starts to bubble. Then when they're ready to, they can put this tapenade on top of that and have a wonderful appetizer. Now, what is this? I don't know if I can zoom in. It's just olives. That's it. I got black olives, Kalamata olives, green olives. I got green olives with pimentos and green olives with blue cheese. Why? Why not? I put in some capers, and when I say some, I'm literally just some. You know, so this is a pretty good sized bowl. I used 1 can of the black olives, and then at the supermarket they've got these olive bars, so I just picked up a few, the smallest container they had, and this is what I'm getting with that. I added a couple of spoonfuls of capers and a couple spoonfuls of brown seeded mustard. I did not put salt because the capers are salty, the olives are salty. Don't put salt. And I just put in enough olive oil to keep it wet. You can put in more, you can put in less, but that is all there is to making tapenade. And there are so many flavors in here. It's a great bite. I tell you, I'm all over the place. I had to turn my fan off because it gives this really warped feeling when you're watching it. But it really helps on this end. So the first thing I'm going to make is I've got the beets in the oven. They're so beautiful. Those colors are just amazing. And they're really healthy for you. It's really good for your liver. It's high in potassium. And then the garlic with it is good for your heart. So we're good. So you're going to use a lot of olive oil. The first thing you need to do is you need to find what plate you're going to put it on. I have this crystal Christmas plate, but since it's going to be covering it, I'm not going to worry about that. You need it to be bigger than your pan. So you're going to make this, it's going to cook, it's going to get nice and yummy, and then you're going to invert it a couple of times. So this is an important part. So make sure you know what size serving tray you're going to use. Because I'm going to be making, I had my potatoes soaking in cold water to keep it from browning. I really need to drain them because the last thing you want in hot oil is water. It's just going to pop all over the place. And I already got something on my top, so I don't want more. So they're draining. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and start. Well, actually, I'm going to use a whole 25-ounce bottle of olive oil. So this is going to get hot. Then I'm going to put in some chorizo. Now the chorizo is going to add flavor, but mostly I'm looking for it to add flavor to the oil. You could take out the chorizo, but why would you? Why would you? So I'm going to let this get hot, and we'll go on to the next. While that's getting hot, I'm going to get my chorizo, and it's sold like this, you know. So I'm going to use less than a half. Again, this is just for the flavoring. It's not going to overpower it by any means. But I'm going to put it in now so that the temperatures can come up at the same time. The best thing to use for this is linguiça. That's a Mexican sausage. It's almost salami-like, but the only one they had was spicy, and I've got some delicate tummies I need to take care of, so I'm not gonna make them fight with spice. So this is just enough flavor, not spice. Huge difference. So I'm gonna slice this open, put it in, let it mix around, and from here on out, I'm gonna keep the camera right on the pan because there's gonna be a lot going on. This is just no big deal. I got that going pretty hot. I'm going to put in the potatoes now, and it's going to really crackle. But I'm not going to drop them in. The reason I don't mind that the oil was so hot, and one of the tricks to cooking, well, in general, is the temperature of your oven, of your fire. You want to make sure, if you're going to put something in that's going to really lower the temperature, you want to start off with a higher temperature. This pan was a lot higher if it was just a couple of potatoes, or if it was just, you know, something smaller. But because I had so much potatoes and they were wet, I wanted to make sure that the heat was higher. Generously salt this. And pepper. And the heat is going to stay on high for a while. All right, I'm going to let them cook for about 10 minutes. Okay, so there's onions, and I used about 2, and I sliced them pretty thin. I want them to kind of, not disappear, but, so I sliced those thin and left those babies whole. How's that? That's okay, because these are so tender, they're just going to mesh into each other. Now, once we put the egg in, that's it. We're not going to touch it again. It's gonna set up on its own. So we want to make sure that everything gets cooked properly. We still have that chorizo on the bottom. Now, did you see how easy that one broke? It's not going to take long to cook because they're so thin. That's all right. We still got stuff to do. So that's going to go. And in the meantime, I'm going to put some olive oil and brie on the crostinis. going to let this cool for just a little bit, not a whole lot. In the meantime, I'm going to take out some of this oil. I don't need all of the oil because now I'm just going to do the omelet part. So once this cools, I'm going to add it to the egg mixture and add cheese and go from there. Okay, so I've got the eggs, they're cracked, they're seasoned, and the potatoes are somewhat cool. And I'm going to put them, see that little bit of garlic right there? That thing is just going to mash up so easily. I'm going to put them inside, and you know how they're always saying, oh, don't put anything hot with eggs because you're going to scramble them? Well, that's what we're doing, so I'm not worried about that.
She's talking to herself.
And now, once this is all in and incorporated, I've got my pan going on a low heat right now. And like I said, once it's in there, I'm not gonna scramble it. It's gonna cook as it sets, and it's gonna kind of look like a cake. I should say, if I did my job right, it'll look like that. So let me get the rest of this in, and we'll go. All right, this looks, it's quite a sight. I mean, it looks quite unappealing and mushy, but boy, if you could smell it, I don't think you'd care. So, all right, into the pot we're gonna go. All right, we see the oil going, and I'm just gonna pour it in. That's it. This bowl is hot. Okay, and that's going to stay like that, and it's going to cook. I'm not stirring it. I'm just kind of making sure that it Okay, so it's done. It's not done, but I'm done with it. I'm not going to touch it anymore, and I'm just going to make sure that the edges will pull from the side when I need to, because like I said, I'm going to flip it over, cook the top of this, and then flip it over again onto the serving. So the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add some manchega cheese. It's a good Spanish cheese. And I put these in shavings. So I shaved them so they're nice and big. And I'm just going to put them on top. I should have mixed them in, but if I had a dime for every time I should have done something and didn't do it, I'd be pretty doggone set. All right. So that's it. It will melt in so nice and give a real rich, smoky kind of flavor. Okay, now here's the fun part. I'm going to take that tortilla de potada that I just made, and I'm going to reflip it over so that I can present it. This is the plate, remember, that I'm going to present it on, and this is the... It's going to work or it's not. Either way, we're eating it. Yeah, baby! Butamus, butamus, butamus in a pan. Well, now it's butamus on a plate. Now what I'm gonna do, I showed you in another video how to make pepper mole. So I'm gonna put that on there. Oh my God, that is so good.
Not one of my favorites.
All right, let me get another grating of manchega. And soup this baby on. That's it. I'm just going to put it right in the middle. And as they serve it, and as they want more, because they will. Oh. Okay, now it's time to play. Paella. First off, you're going to use a different kind of rice. You're going to use a short grain rice. The long grain rice is going to have a lot of starch. You can use that, but then you're going to kind of turn it into a risotto, so don't use it. Even though I said you can, don't. You're going to have anything that you like. So even if you see a recipe and it has shrimp, or it doesn't have shrimp but you want shrimp, put in shrimp. It's your plate. Who's gonna tattle on you? I've got mussels. I've got calamari steak. I'm gonna cut that up into strips. I've got shrimp, 60-20, and 60-20 shrimp just means that there's about 60 to 20 shrimp per pound. That's all it means. I've got chicken leg because I like the meatier, juicier part with this. I've got Alaskan cod. Now keeping your things in about the same size portions. My chicken is bigger portion than my cod. So they're going to go in first. When you're cooking on something like this, and you can use a big frying pan. You don't have to get a paella pan, but I did. That's what I do. So I got one. But if I didn't have one, I would still use my biggest skillet, and it would work just fine. So you're going to have your temperature at, I don't know, let's say level 3, okay? When you're going to start putting cold things in, you want to take your temperature higher so that it will eventually always stay at a level 3. That's why you always want your food and your ingredients at room temperature so that there's not this wishy-washy up and down with oils and stuff. So we've got seafood stock. I didn't make this. I just got it. You could use chicken stock. You could use water. But you know, if there's any time I'm gonna look for flavor, I'm gonna add it. I'm gonna do that. I've got linguiça on this one, which is just a Spanish sausage. It's thicker than like chorizo. Chorizo will kind of just crumble. This stays together. Okay, now it's time for paella. I've got this pan. This is a 15-inch pan. This will serve about 8 people. Along with the other dishes I've made, my 8 people should go home pretty full. Now, here's the kind of tricky thing about this. You only have the surface that you have. So don't worry about the smoke. It's a brand new pan, so it's just deciding if it wants to play. So if you have to move it around, and I will because I want it even cooking, so I'll move it around, which is why they have the handles there. That's what I'm told. Makes no sense. That works just fine for me. Okay, so that's going to get hot. And the first thing I'm going to put in is oil. And you're going to use olive oil, and you're going to use a good quality olive oil. It will matter in the end. Okay, so I got my oil going. First thing I'm going to do is put in my savories, which are going to be my onions, my garlic, and my linguiça. This is going to flavor the oils. So, as I said, I have family here, so if you hear them, then you know I'm not lying.
We're not really here.
See what I mean? All right, so you can see that the coloring is going from the linguiça to the olive oil. The drink is a hibiscus rose lemonade. Very light, very refreshing. Okay, so that's good. You can see the colors changing. That makes me happy. I'm going to add my onion and my garlic. And I've got a lot of garlic, and it's thinly sliced. So as it gets hot, it's going to it's kind of going to dissolve, but the flavor is going to be there. So I got this on medium high. Let's kick it up to a higher heat. Another thing I did, I've got tomatoes, stewed tomatoes. So what I did was I opened the can and I strained it. I just want the meat for this right now, and then I'll use the
the juice later on. Everything gets used. You might think that that's a lot of oil, but I got a lot of rice and a lot of other ingredients, and I am going to put just a little bit of salt and pepper here. I'm not going to go heavy-handed on either one because the linguiça, it has salt, and quite honestly, I want the other flavors too to get the attention. Keep the heat moving, you know, keep the pan moving so you're going to get it even. I'm going to crank it up even higher. Here's the fun part about paella. We're going to use saffron. Saffron? It's almost like why are you coming to this party and then you realize this is the host. So you go by threads. You use like 5 or 6 threads. If a recipe calls for saffron, it's going to give you an amount of threads. I'm just going to say a pinch, and that's a lot. Oh my God, that is a lot. Oops. Whatever. That little bit is going to give it such great yellow color, and it's going to give it such flavor. It's already hidden in that, so it's doing what it's supposed to do. But don't try to make this without it. It's an expensive spice, but it's worth it. It's worth it. And you don't have to use it only in paella. You can use it in anything. Put it in meatloaf. Who cares? It's a good flavor. All right. So now I'm going to add the rice. No, I'm not. I lied. I'm going to add the tomatoes. And this is just a can of tomatoes, but they've been draining. You could use tomato paste, but I like the texture that this is going to give. This is why I separate it, so I can get that paste texture. So it's going to cook that tomato paste and give the flavor and texture all over the whole pot. Keep your pot moving. Now, the thing with paella, and if anybody who loves paella knows there's one thing that is missing when it's missing, and that is it's not burnt rice, it's toasted rice, because there is a huge difference. And let me just tell you right now, Maria, don't burn rice, okay? But the toasted rice, it's crunchy, it's got more flavor than anywhere else. That's called socrat. And every good paella should have it. Let's see how well I do here. I've got some paella experts at the table, so yeah, I'm a little nervous. Right. Nope, I don't do nervous. Okay, so the first thing I'm putting in here with my rice, and this is the short grain rice. Now that I have the rice in here, I'm not going to do a whole lot of mixing. This will be about it. I'm going to put in my rice, and I'm going to put in my stock. Yep. And I'm going to use seafood stock for this. And I'll use 32 ounces of it. I'm getting comments from the peanut gallery back there. I don't know. What was I thinking? My gosh, family.
You welcomed us.
I did, and I always will. All right. So you have what looks like soup. That's perfect. First thing I'm going to add is my chicken. It's going to take the longest to cook. And even these are small pieces, but this is loaded. This is a loaded dish. The white fish will go in last with the shrimp because they cook the fastest. I'm good with that. If you touch shrimp, if you touch chicken, you better wash your hands, baby. All right, so this is gonna cook for, now I'm gonna leave it on for about. Okay, so you can see it bubbling all around. Right here, there's not much bubble, but all I have to do is turn my pan. And I turned the fire on both ends just to cover my bases. So I'll spin this around. And again, it's gonna cook evenly. Now, the other stuff, and it's not gonna take much longer from here. So the next thing I'm going to put in is the squid, and that's not going to cook long. But again, if you don't like something, don't put it in. If you really love it, put it in twice as much. Keep in mind, though, that you're not going to touch this. You're not going to stir it. You're not going to do anything to it. So if you're looking to make it pretty, and of course you are, right? Then this is where you want to do it. And I know, you know, when you're making something like this, everybody wants some of everything. So I want to try to, I'm going to stop. I don't want to overload it. But it's really easy to. So this is going to cook quickly. Now I'm going to add the Alaskan cod, and that's really going to cook fast. So we're almost, sort of nowhere near done. Now it's funny when you put in the mussels, it's that's the one where it's just visually going to kick in. What? You want to see? Oh, all right. And I used a pound of this, a pound of that, a pound of this, and a pound of that. That's no joke. That's my measurement. Now, when you're using mussels or clams, it's going to cook and they're going to open up. If they don't open up, toss it. It's no good. I'm going to put all of these in because they're so small. You know, inside they got this great big outside, but then inside it's just a bite-sized piece. This is an open one, and I don't think you're going to get the light on it. I'm not going to use it. So you can see it, it's getting pretty full. Whatever. Yeah, I think I'm good right there because I still have shrimp. That's pretty. Now, these shrimps still have the shells, they've been deveined, which just means the yucky part has been taken out, but I'm keeping the shell on it because it's going to hold in a lot of flavor. So this will be another visual. And these are going to see? That's all right. These are going to turn pink when they're done. This is an automated shrimp seafood because it tells you exactly when it's done. And because everybody loves shrimp, I'm really going to use all of these. Can you guys smell it?
Yes. Oh my goodness.
Does that look good?
Yes.
Lie to me. I love it.
Can you make it go faster?
No. No.
Those elder went right into you guys' steam.
You see it going, huh?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to play
Yeah,
with that.
we need smell-o-vision.
I keep saying that, my gosh. All right, this, I don't want that. So remember when I said you're never gonna move it? Yeah, like, that's because I'm overloading the heck out of this pot. Last thing is peas, and that one is just because I said.
Are they frozen or something?
These are frozen, and I would not use canned peas. Well, I would not use canned peas anytime, but we're good. This is gonna play, it's gonna cook, and we are gonna grub. My friends, this is it. This is a paella. I put a little bit of a lemon wedge on the side so everyone can dress their own. And cilantro, not cilantro, I'm sorry, parsley. And it's time to grub. And this, my friend, is exactly what family is about.
Amen.
Amen, sister.
Bon appetit. Okay, so this is it. And I gotta tell you guys, even though you think I just know everything, lie, I don't care. Just say you do. This is my first attempt at paella.
Oh my
So-
goodness. It's fantastic.
There you go. Don't be afraid of stuff. Be out there. Be bold.
Boy, talk about a success. That was a great paella party. And the whole event was just amazing. My guests were so full that we never got around to dessert. And they sat around and we talked and we talked and we visited and we had a great time, and they were just ranting and raving. So I was beaming. And about an hour later, I asked, well, do you guys want coffee? Sure, what's for dessert? So I made the churros after all. But I didn't film it. So I will make them again just for you. Who am I kidding? They were so good. So I'll make them again to show you that. But that's it. That was my first attempt. I had made it once in a cooking class, but there were so many other hands involved. It was very hard to know what was what. But be bold, my friends. Be bold. Just take a chance. First off, it's food. If it doesn't turn out right, you're going to learn a lot by the errors that you make. And then the second time, you'll perfect it, you know. And then in the meantime, the first batch, you just eat. So, yeah, just try it. And this one, I would really suggest. It just looks intimidating. It's not. I hope the video helped you. I hope you had fun. I know it was crazy, and I'm sorry, but it just got like that. You know, it's called life. All right, my friends. Until next time, happy baking.
Ah, that was fun. Don't forget to like and subscribe.